Dancing banana, dancing banana. I love to see those dancing bananas blowing up in the chat. Look at you guys. Well, how did we get, you know, I try to be a guy that puts a smile on your face, but also makes a point. Tells you some serious things in this world that's going on around us, in our culture, in the crazy society. And our show has been reduced to dancing bananas. And I'm here for it. Let me hit a couple of them myself. Uh-oh. Got to be careful how you touch that banana. Oh, shoot. My bananas disappeared. There they are. Boom. Is it coming through? My rumble's being screwy. But I love to see you guys in the chat. Blow that thing up. You know, it sounds, sounds crazy every day when we say blow up the chat, but it sure is nice to see you guys in there. If you're over there under the Google overlords on YouTube, we appreciate you being there as well. But the live chat that I'm looking at is over on Rumble, if you want to look over there. But I do encourage people every single day, well, pretty much every single day. We, in the afternoon, we post what we call around here some long-form videos. And they're sort of like mini episodes of a headline that's happening. So check in on Rumble and YouTube, particularly over on YouTube, and see those. If you just look at the timestamp, if it's about 15 minutes long, that's one of those. And go check it out. I went off on Jimmy Kimmel so hard yesterday. I'm telling you, I watched that back yesterday afternoon. I was sitting out back. I was smoking a cigar. And I said, you know what? Let me see what I said, because sometimes I don't even remember what all I said. And I went back and watched what I said to Jimmy Kimmel. I was ready to shout amen. I was ready to run through the wall like the Kool-Aid man. I was fired up, y'all. Not enough, Jimmy. So if you missed that, go back and see it. If you like to hear me yell about things. And I appreciate you guys for going over to our Before the Noise episodes. You can go to beforethenoise.com and get caught up, and also read the articles I'm putting in. And I am thankful when you go over to Apple Podcasts. Now, we slipped a little. We got as high as, I think we got ranked 18 or 17 in our category for Before the Noise on Apple. And we slipped back down to 40 today. I mean, look, it's a vanity thing, but the higher the ranking, the more Apple's going to look at that and say, okay, people care about this program, and we're going to put it out there for more eyeballs to see. It's a weird algorithm. You got to massage it. You got to play with it. Whew, it's a pain. But I sure appreciate it when you go over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify too, but I pay attention to the Apple rankings and hit 5 stars in a review. Oh, and by the way, leaving a review on beforethenoise.com is not the same as leaving it over on Apple Podcasts. I appreciate the reviews in all the places. I'm asking a lot. I know, I'm asking a lot. But more than anything, I'm thankful you guys are here. Are you ready for the sleeper cells? That's the big question. Are we on the verge of a sleeper cell jihad in America? You want to talk about that? Because we just had this umpire get shot, or the coach got shot while praying with his team by some dudes that were just shooting rifles in a field. We'll talk about that later, tell you about that story. Let me tell you what I hear when I hear people talk about a sleeper cell. I think they start picturing Jason Bourne and like ninjas in the suburbs, and this terrorist cell that's meeting in the back of a 7-Eleven and disguising bomb parts as a Slurpee machine or a pinball machine like Back to the Future. Calm down for a second, okay? Because here's the truth, and this is the truth. We're not seeing proof that there's some massive coordinated Red Dawn sequel about to drop on us. DHS, they're not hiding a PowerPoint slide that says Thursday sleeper cell activation. What we are seeing is the usual pattern, and the usual pattern is scary enough. You have a bunch of lone wolf wannabes that are radicalized online, and they're scrolling ISIS propaganda between Cheeto crumbs and deciding they're going to take down the great Satan, and they're doing it all from their mom's basement in a folding chair. Now, I don't want to underplay it, but the real sleeper cell in America is people binge watching Netflix until 3 a.m. and then sleeping through their alarm to go to work. It's probably actually more dangerous right now to this country's productivity than ISIS could ever dream of. And I know that's pissing off some of your apocalyptic dreams out there. But let's be realists for a little while. Don't get me wrong. The threat is real, Jason Bourne. The Department of Homeland Security doesn't issue warnings because they're bored. They say that the environment is, quote, elevated, which is government speak for we don't want to freak you out, but we're definitely freaked out a little bit. What does that look like? Now, you've seen the headlines. The guy who thinks pledging allegiance to ISIS on Telegram is going to make him some kind of holy warrior, and he really can't even figure out how to use Uber Eats without the app crashing. Now, the FBI, they've been busting these types left and right, and I'm glad for this DOJ because you got these little tiny plots and these goofy conspiracies and some dangerous stuff, but I don't think we're necessarily looking at sleeper armies, at least not yet. Now, let's be honest, and I'd love to see what you guys have to say in the chat about this. But if ISIS really wanted to activate sleeper cells in America, they'd have to work around the biggest obstacle of all, and that's rush hour traffic. I remember watching Jack Bauer on 24, and like he'd kill 37 people in an hour, and then the next episode he'd kill another 37 people. Like this dude's got some massive issues. But then he was doing all this in L.A., and like he was supposed to do all that in 24 hours, and he'd just snap his fingers, and suddenly he was, up the 105. I was like, I can't believe any of this stuff that's going on. Good luck plotting a jihad when you're stuck behind Karen in a Prius and a practice kindness bumper sticker doing 20 under the limit in the left lane. That alone's going to radicalize them, man. But here's the thing. Lone actors can still cause chaos. One radical with an AR-15 can do damage. That's why law enforcement stays on it every single day, which is why I say thank God for the people in uniform who deal with this nonsense while the rest of us complain about the Wi-Fi speed. So are we on the verge of a sleeper cell jihad? Probably not the way you think of it. Are there bad guys out there who'd love to take a swing at us? Absolutely. They're out there drooling on their keyboards, dreaming of the caliphate while their DoorDash order gets cold. Now, here's what we need to do. First, don't panic. The terrorists, that's what they want, is fear. Don't give in to them. Second, stay alert. If you see something suspicious, report it. Yes, Karen, I'm talking about suspicious, not your neighbor buying fertilizer for his garden. And third, stop believing everything you read on Facebook and the internet, especially the stuff posted from your cousin who still thinks Tom Hanks is running cabal out of a Pizza Hut. That's going to piss some of you off. But stick with the real advisories, okay? And finally, remember this. America stood against far worse. We beat the Nazis. We beat the Soviets. We've survived disco and flyaway callers. We're going to survive a few internet jihadis with bad Wi-Fi. So, no, I don't think there's a sleeper cell hiding out in your cul-de-sac waiting to strike. But I do think Americans should wake up and pay attention and stop acting like TikTok dances are more important than national security. That's the real wake-up call. And if you ask me, the only sleeper cell I'm worried about is the one in Congress right now, where more than half of them fall asleep during budget hearings while they bankrupt our country. That's the real terrorism. Get your ass together, GOP. Sick of those dudes. Who's with me? Who's against me? I don't really care. I don't really care. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about our friends over at Birch Gold. Birch Gold, text Chad to 989898. This is a huge favor you can do for the program. They got a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau, and they got tens of thousands of satisfied customers. The time is getting short because through the end of September, when you text Chad to 989898, they're going to give you a call on the phone. They're not going to bug you. They're not going to sell you. They just want to get your address so they can send you a free, no-obligation information kit on how you can diversify your retirement with a tax-sheltered IRA backed by actual physical gold. But right now, if you're a first-time gold buyer, they've got a rebate going where you might qualify for up to $10,000 rebate in physical gold. That's a pretty good deal. You need to get it. Gold is through the roof. Party Foul Steve's got his finger on the pulse of that every day. But text Chad to 989898. More importantly, make sure your future is secure, backed by physical gold. You got that old 401k, you got a savings account, you need to roll it over. Do that with Birch Gold. They're the folks that I trust, and I want you to trust them too. And just let them know you're there. Let them know it's important that they're a partner of this show. Do me that favor today if you haven't done it yet, or if you have done it, do it again. Text Chad to 989898. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Party Foul.
What's going on? Gold prices are at $37.60. They are down just a hair today, but not too much. It's not.
They're at what though?
$37.60. I think it's what it is.
$3,760 an ounce, bro.
And when I can remember, my dad used to say, "Man, hey, we really need to invest in some gold." Back then, it was $300 an ounce, and there's no way that our family could afford $300 to buy an ounce of gold.
Well, scrape it up and get some gold, man. I
Yeah,
encourage people to do it.
or silver. Silver's good too. That's going up for that's over $40 an ounce. So
You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do at the end of this show when I share my thoughts? I felt impressed. I get up about, Steve, you and I, we're up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And this morning I said,
my choice.
what would Jesus, I do get up early. I like to get up early because that's where I do my best thinking and praying and prepping and preparing. And I got David Medina. Follow him at David Medina PDX. I got him up early. He's in Portland, Oregon, because before the noise wasn't loading right over on Rumble, and so we had a little technical issue there. And it was fine. It came out live, but the thumbnail's still not loading up on that thing for some reason. It just didn't load. But I was up this morning and I thought, what would Jesus say to progressive liberals in America today? And then what would Jesus say to staunch conservatives in America today? And so I started writing, and I wrote a response to that I think is a good answer. And at the end of the show today, I want you guys to stay tuned because I'm going to share this. I'm going to take about 10 minutes. I'm going to share with you what Jesus would say to both sides. And it was very, very profound, if I say so myself. And so I'm going to do that at the end of the program, all right? And I think people are going to enjoy it. I think it's something that I'm going to put out there on the larger scale because I think we both need to hear this. I think we need to hear this.
You're going to take some splinters out of some eyes on both sides?
I mean, I think it does. I tell you this, I don't disagree with a single word I wrote. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. I don't disagree with a single word I wrote.
So you sat in the middle and you picked both sides' worst things and called them out? I can't wait.
I tried to sit with Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I tried to sit with Jesus, and I said, okay, from the scripture, knowing both sides the way I do, what would he say to us? And so I'm going to wait till the end because that's when the most people are on the show watching. And we'll get into that. Hey, let me ask you a question, Steve. This is a little thing that excites me. I finally have this. Finally have a hardwire internet running into this computer.
Okay.
Because we've had some glitches on the audio on the show in the last week because I got some gremlins over the weekend over this thing. And thank you, David. Thank you very much.
It has not.
Now, Steve, I want to ask you.
Today.
Steve, I want to ask you, get louder in your microphone. You got to get into that thing. Talk louder.
All right. I can actually turn it up a little bit.
You like to talk low, and I'm halfway deaf. Yeah, turn it up.
I need a better mic that picks up all the way around, not just right here.
You got a good mic. Now, all those mics, that's what they do. You got to talk into them. Boom, like that. Now, my question to you, Steve, is do you have your computer hardwired?
No, mine's not. Mine's runs right off.
And the reason you don't is because you're vain. You don't want to have that cord running through your house.
Yeah. No, that's not the reason.
You have to roll that thing up every day. We got to get you hardwired.
I will when I build a brand new studio. No,
I'll buy you 100-foot cable to run down there, so we'll do that. Anyway, this is a jackleg operation we're running here. All right, let's jump into the top stories, folks. Y'all ready for it? Let's jump into the top stories. Let's go with this. Woo! I had to dig in my ear there.
You got to guess whose head that is on that tweet up there?
If you pull that back up, David, the way you had it, everybody can guess whose forehead that was.
Is that Glenn Beck's?
That's Glenn Beck.
Look at that. I knew who it was. Look at that.
Glenn is so Glenn's so funny because when Glenn comes in a room, it all becomes about Glenn. I mean, even at that memorial the other day, Glenn comes in, he's already got the tears in his eyes, and I'm like, that is so Glenn, just so Glenn. I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from Glenn. I've just been around him long enough. I know how he is, right? So anyway, all right, Erica Kirk told Glenn Beck that Charlie unknowingly prepared her for this moment, leaving behind his diaries and even his 2028 plans. This was from David Harris. He posted this. Play Glenn right here.
She said to me last week, we had a conversation. She said, I think Charlie prepared me for this, and I didn't even know it. She said he's got stacks of diaries. He wrote a diary every day. And she said, I never read his diaries. I mean, that's not something you do. But after he died, I went in and I started going through his diaries. I was reading the last few pages and everything else. She said, I started reading him. She said, he left me the plans for 2028. He left me the budgets for the future. She said he like left this for me. And she is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, TPUSA is in really good hands, I think, with her.
Yeah, I think that Charlie knew that at any time something could happen. I think Charlie knew the threats that were out there. Our friend Tim Poole, he even said that he couldn't go to the memorial because his team said that the threats against him were too high. And people can take that for how they want to take it. But, you get threats. We get threats. I get threats. And you know when to take them seriously and when not to take them seriously. For the most part, the people that are going to actually do something don't send out the threats. They just do it, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see this next chapter of TPUSA. I agree with Glenn. I think they're in good hands for what they are, for what they're doing. And I want to say that what's going on in our world today is far bigger. And that's not to dishonor Charlie and his legacy, but it's far bigger than TPUSA. I've had a lot of people reach out to me in the last couple of days asking me to connect them with Erica Kirk, not Eric Church, Erica Kirk. I was just talking about Eric Church, as a matter of fact, but Erica Kirk. And they're like, can you connect me to Erica Kirk? And I'm like, nope, she's literally the most insulated person on the globe right now. Just reach out to TPUSA. They're more than happy to do that. But it was a powerful that memorial service. I like what Brandon Lake. I've fallen in love with this dude, Brandon Lake. Sings Christian music. He's got a phenomenal voice. I think he's got a phenomenal heart. Everything that I've seen. And historically, when it comes to Christian music, I sort of went another way from it because I don't like music that's on a track. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the music that was Christian music back in the 80s and 90s was sung to a drum track or a music track. And I'm like, let's do some real music. And I like the fresh wave that's going out where these people are authentically playing music. And I was pretty impressed. In fact, I think I'm going to a Brandon Lake show in October, and I'm looking forward to doing that and seeing him live. But he was there on stage with Phil Wickham as well as Chris Tomlin, who's been around for a long, long time, and they were leading the worship there at Charlie's Memorial. And Brandon, he came out and said that it was the most powerful spiritual experience, the most holy moment in worship. Pull that back up there, David. Why are we losing our clip there? Said it was the most. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because of the sheer number of people in one place together and worshiping, that does have an impact. Just the sheer numbers.
Well, when you have that many voices joining together, it is going to be powerful, but it's also anointing because you have that many people together in unity. That's one of the reasons we sing, is because it brings our voices together in unity and it brings our hearts together saying the same words. That's why there are things like the common book of prayer and the liturgies and the things that people say together. I think there's powerful in reciting the scripture together. I think that reading corporately is a big thing because I think, and I could go into that. One day I'll do a study and I'll show you guys the power of that type of unity. But he says, Brandon said,
I'm better off singing to myself, not like out loud.
Well, but still joining in, man. It's called make a happy, a joyful noise. Not necessarily
joyful noise, but it's not a very good one.
Yeah, you can make a joyful noise. It says he still has goosebumps remembering when no one sang for 9 minutes. He's talking about the people on the stage. He said only the strings were playing. Let's play this clip and listen.
I don't know what's happening right now, but it is the closest thing, if not absolute revival. We've seen so many videos posting that they've just found Jesus. They've just given their life to Jesus.
Or come back.
To Jesus.
A long time away, yeah.
Real quick, if you somehow stumbled upon my page, I love Jesus. I make Jesus music. I just want to say welcome to the family of God. You've made the best decision you could ever make in your life. There's so many things I just want to say. I'm just like, I feel this fire. Brittany and I got this invitation to go lead worship at Charlie Kirk's funeral. I love that Brittany's immediate response was, yes, we are doing this. For a moment, I was like, yes, I want to do this. And I was just thinking, what's this going to say to the world? And then I realized I don't need to be afraid about what this looks like, because for me and for us, this wasn't a political stunt. This was not saying I'm siding with anyone other than we were going to go minister to a widow who just lost her husband. and who was a man of faith. And we wanted to honor their family. Yeah. And I thought it was so amazing that she's like, I want worship to set the tone. I want worship to lead the way as we celebrate his life. What the enemy intends for evil, God intends for good. And we are watching that play out right now. I'm proud of all of you that have decided to follow Jesus. Just after gratitude, we went into Agnus Dei and sang, Holy is the Lord God Almighty. And it was in that moment, which I sing that song every night on tour, and that all of a sudden, no one was singing. The strings were playing. And for the next 9 minutes, no one sang a word. And it was the most holy moment, I have goosebumps, that I have ever experienced in worship.
It was a powerful deal. I'll tell you, when I walked in at State Farm Stadium there, the first picture I took, this was the first picture that I took when I walked in on the floor, and that's Brandon up there in the Jumbotron, if you will. He was over there just to the right of this. And this was from the back, and then, of course, we went up there, and I was like, that is Brandon Lake right there. And Steve, stop. Why do you do that?
I was just going to see if my text will pop up on the screen. Sorry.
Steve, while we're having a holy moment here, this jackass, Steve, is texting to see if his deal pop up, his name will pop up on the deal. That's how narcissistic this fool is right here.
No, I was just playing.
I know. That's the problem. This is what I deal with every day. But I was like, there's Brandon Lake up there. I was proud to see him do it. So, yeah, it's a great testimony. But it was awesome. Thanks for killing the moment, Steve.
Yep. Nope. It's all good.
There he is.
That was excellent. I wish that we could have saw more of that pre-service and stuff because we were watching Fox News and a couple other stations, because there were some other non-Fox News channel that were playing some of that stuff. So I wish they would have done more of the praise and worship for us to see. They would just do little, 5-10 second clips.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, I'm telling you, to be there was, always when you're there. But I encourage everybody, go see a Brandon Lake show. I've never seen him live, but I mean, other than there. And if his concert's anything compared to what I saw there at a memorial service, I can't wait to go have a little celebration with him. So I'm doing that, I think, next month. But party foul. That was so funny, dude. I knew what you were doing, jackass. Pete Hegseth has just ordered an urgent gathering of hundreds of generals and admirals. Well, what do you think, folks? We're going to war. What are we going to do? I mean, we just had some flybys in Alaska, didn't we? We had to scramble some jets up there.
Yeah, they scrambled a couple of jets, but this is not abnormal behavior by Russia. They fly through that area, and it's considered. They just throw ours up there just to make sure, but it's they've done it forever.
Yeah,
it's not anything new.
They just remind, a little saber rattling. They remind each other that we exist. Shush your mouth, Megyn Moo. Megyn Duthu in the chat telling us to leave Party Foul Steve alone. We might see the firing of some woke admirals and generals. Let's see what happens. But this is it. They scrambled fighter jets.
Cash 5-1 heavy contact Anchorage Center on 123.9er. Good day. 123.9er, Cash 5-1.
Our very own K-Dub, Kevin Wade, is in the chat. He's a fighter jet pilot. He was. I would love to hear what K-Dub has to say about that deal right there. What do you think, K-Dub? K-Dub's like,
they jump up and run and go jump in their jets and take off like you see in the movies? Like
I want to see K-Dub. I want to see Kevin Wade run out there. He can run now. He's lost 400,000 pounds, but he could. I want to see K-Dub run out there in that flight suit, with his little helmet in his hand, jumping out there and those guys out there, woo, go, go, go.
Yeah, that's how I have it visualized like that too. So, but they're up in Alaska. It's probably a little cold.
Well, when you're at that elevation, altitude, and it's cold when you get up in that plane. Everybody got upset with me because I was talking about little Gary, the hamster, and the pilot's bleeding the engine, but turning the air off. Everybody, because I made a joke about Gary saving the climate and all that kind of stuff. Little hamster on the wheel down there saving the airplane. I know. Don't steal Gary's little comedic moment of thunder. I know it's not saving the planet. That's not why the pilots in your airplane are turning the AC off while you're sitting on the tarmac. I know.
K-Dub said it's just like in the movies. So
Just like in the movies, baby. Just like in the movies. By the way, if you guys got my book, get my book, Born for Meaning. Go get it. That one's slipping on the charts, too. Dancing Bananas. You guys are slipping. I need you guys to do some ratings and some reviews. All right, what next? We got, let's see. Trump is building a new border wall. He's painting it black, which, I mean, I think has been going on for a minute now. But got new border wall, San Rafael Valley, 30 feet tall. It's going to be replaced.
That's the one they're painting black because it's supposed to be hotter.
It'll get hot, yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Electrify that thing already.
Yeah, let's put some drone strikes on that thing. Play the clip.
Behind me is the first section of the new border wall in the San Rafael Valley.
How do you say that name?
U.S. Customs and Border Protection says it's at least 30 feet tall and painted black. Homeland Security Secretary Christine Nome says the entire U.S. southern border will be painted black to make it hotter for people to climb. Officials say the new wall in the San Rafael Valley will be made of 6-inch squared steel bollards. This particular wall is south of Sonoita and in between Nogales and Sierra Vista.
Sorry, did you hear how that guy said 6 inches and bollards? 6 inches and bollards.
Will be made of 6-inch squared steel bollards. Will be made of 6-inch squared steel. Will be made of 6-inch. Made of 6-inch. Made of 6-inch.
And steel squared bollards.
It only takes about 9 seconds for them guys to climb up that thing. They go up it with no ropes, no nothing. Boom.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I promise you can. They're like, that's why they're roofers in Florida. They're like, man, they climb all over the place.
That's why they're roofers.
Yeah.
I've seen those dudes go up there with like 5 packs of shingles, which are like what, 40, 50 pounds a piece? Like 4 or 5 packs of those shingles up the ladder at one time.
Yeah, they don't do that every time, but they can go up. They can go up the ladder. They could climb. That would be impressive. See them climb the wall with a couple of bundles of shingles.
I've seen them do it, man. They're coming over with shingles. Yesterday. Steve, say if you're going to say it.
Nope.
Steve likes to. I want y'all to notice, those of you in the chat, those of you listening to the show, when Steve starts to say something, he starts to talk, and then he stops and I have to say it.
No, I'm not going to, because people get offended these days.
I ain't talking about. I'm just saying, anytime you want to say something, just say it.
Yes.
You ain't got to say the offensive stuff. I'm just saying, even if you want to tell them Jesus loves me, don't start with just say it.
Jesus does love me. I don't like silence on the airways, Chad.
Neither do I. That's why I want you just to say it. All right, they had the Texas ICE shooter yesterday. The dude offed himself. I got so many opinions right here. Now, you want to know what I really think? All right, posted this. FBI Director Kash Patel reports that Joshua John, the Dallas ICE facility shooter, searched for apps that tracked where ICE agents were and wrote in a note. Hopefully, this will give ICE agents real terror to think there is a sniper with AP rounds on the roof. The shooter also searched online for the Charlie Kirk assassination video between September 23 and 24, downloaded Dallas County Office of Homeland Security Emergency Management containing a list of DHS facilities. I would love to have a conversation with everybody and find out what everybody thinks about all of this. I'll just say, let me just say, if I were to go out on a conspiracy limb, maybe, let's say we don't trust the government, we hate the government hates us. Let's say the things that you've been told about Charlie Kirk's death are not true. And I don't think the things we're being told about his death are true. There's a lot about that doesn't make sense. But again, I'm going to save my stuff because I don't want to dishonor his memory. There's a time and a place for that. Now is not it. But what if, in order to get people off of their little investigation conspiratorial Snoopy Snoop, they trot this guy out there and set him up. He obviously can't talk. He's missing half of his head. And all of the different things that we're looking into suddenly start to, a little by little, get memory hold, because now you're on to the next conspiratorial thing that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't understand why this guy wrote anti-ICE. I can understand if he put F-ICE on there. That would be a little more keeping with these types of people's rhetorics than to put anti-ICE.
Maybe he couldn't spell Antifa.
Maybe he was trying to spell Antifa.
And he went, what comes next? And
ICE.
couldn't spell it. Or it had nothing to do with any of that kind of stuff. This was could have been a suicide mission. Maybe the guy's struggling with his gender identity. I don't know. But it's definitely a nut job, and he took himself out.
Yeah. So I think that the more, it's great, Blanco, you're making an excellent point, creating chaos in order to divide us further. I think that could be very much what's going on. I went kind of deep in the rabbit hole last night in a conversation that made some folks very uncomfortable with my thoughts on a number of things that we're kind of holding up as a holy grail or a sacred calf right now that I think that needs to be analyzed and looked at. But will it ever happen? I don't think so. I was saying things last night that literally I had to go hide my phone in another room. I'm serious. I did, because I was like, I'm going to say some things. And I did. You can't say these in public forums. You can't say the things that I'm thinking in public forums. So there's a lot of issues, a lot of questions that I have, and maybe one day K-Dub and I will get together, have an expensive bourbon, and he'll tell me his thoughts too, because I trust him. I trust him. But I do like what you say, Kevin. Post actual photos of his body for Libs to see, show them their future if they keep choosing violence. Now, there's no doubt about it. The violent rhetoric is real, and we got to keep calling that out. And I do like the fact that now not only James Comey, but Letitia James are going to be indicted. This is big stuff. NBC reports James Comey is likely to face a federal criminal indictment in the next 6 days, including charges of lying to Congress, which he did.
Yes, facts.
He did. And statute of limitations is about to run out on his perjury. Play this clip. Let's go.
James Comey is expected to be indicted in the coming days. The full extent of the charges being prepared against Comey is unclear. Joining us now, MSNBC Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delanian and MSNBC Senior Investigative Correspondent Carol Legg, Chris O'Leary, Ashley Parker still with us. Carol, help us understand the reporting.
So, Katie, we have some sources who say that for several weeks now, the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia, and actually in offices that are potentially much further south than Alexandria, have been eyeing ways to indict Comey, and they are getting very much closer. The statute of limits, rephrase, they are arguing that Comey, there is evidence to suggest Comey lied to Congress in his testimony on the Hill in September of 2020. And for viewers out in the audience who may not be legally as nerdy as me and Ken, I'll just say that there's a statute of limitations to charge people with the crime of lying to Congress or perjury, and that's 5 years. The 5-year statute runs this month.
All right. Well,
yeah, I don't see anything coming of it. They'll indict him. He'll talk his way into not having to do any jail time or whatever. He's not going to go to prison.
Just talk his way into it.
Yeah.
I mean, when are they going to do Fauci? I would love to hear in the chat what you guys think. Click like. Make sure that you have clicked like on this episode. I mean, they're cutting it awful close to letting that 5-year statute of limitations run out. But we'll see what happens. But he definitely did lie in his 2020 testimony.
So did Biden not give him a pardon for things he may or may not have done? So
you mean the auto pen?
That's how Fauci's gets away with it. So
we'll see. I think we're gonna see some things that are gonna happen in regards to that auto pen. I do love what Trump did by putting that up there.
That's a troll move. That was hilarious.
I mean, super troll move. I'm talking about that on John Bachman's show here in a couple of hours. The MSNBC, man, just is encouraging the Justice Department officials to push back if former FBI Director James Comey is indicted. We will see resignations. We may see other forms of protest. These people, they do not like law and order, none whatsoever, unless they're going after their political enemies. Let's play the clip.
It stands for. Joyce, if it is such a dire moment, what is your advice, your message right now to those people inside the Justice Department, inside these U.S. attorney offices, the rank and file prosecutors that are doing the work to bring cases like this one? What do you say to them?
So the mission inside of U.S. attorneys' offices across the country is to keep their communities safe. And in difficult times like this, the traditional advice to federal prosecutors is to keep their heads down, do the important cases in front of them. Because the cases that we're talking about, Anna, that's maybe 1% of what's going on in the Justice Department. But every day there's violent crime, there's drug crime, there's civil rights violations and white-collar crime that prosecutors and agents across the country are working on. The issue prosecutors are hardwired to understand, and I hope Americans will understand this too, is that when you become an assistant United States attorney or a political appointee in an office, you check your politics at the door. You walk in and you do your job looking at the facts and the law without fear or favor. And that's what I believe Andrews and my former colleagues across the country are trying their hardest to do right now. There may be a moment for difficult choices coming for many prosecutors. And I hope that when those moments come, that the American public will stand up and support these people. I think if there is a move to indict Jim Comey, we will likely see resignations out of Alexandria and Richmond. We may see other forms of protest by career prosecutors. It's a unique moment, and I think that these people will rise to it.
All right. Hold up.
I don't see how that. Okay, resign. We're okay with that. Get out of there.
That's good. They're going to resign in the name of protest. But again, I love what she says at the beginning. She says, in hard times like these, what? Bringing justice to a dude who literally lied to Congress? He said he didn't spy. He said the DOJ did not spy. The Justice Department, I'm going to say it again, did not spy on President Trump. That's exactly what they did. And I'm going to talk about this on John Bachman here in a little while, because Jake Tapper came out yesterday and said Trump better be careful going after people because his political enemies, that was Tapper's words, his political enemies are, their payback might be hell. Where were you for the last 5 freaking years, you dumbass? Where were you?
They've been going after him for 12 years.
I mean, treated him like a freaking terrorist. Absolutely insane. All right, let me, you'll have to tune into Bachman here in a little while. I got a lot to say on that thing. All right, let's see. In the chat, blow that thing up. There's the auto pen. There's Joe Biden.
Okay, as funny as I think this is, do I really think it's appropriate? Under normal circumstances, I would say no, that it's not.
No,
but after everything that they've done and said to Trump over the years, yes, just do it.
It's appropriate. And let me tell you why. Because he was absentee, he was a puppet. And I'll prove it. How many organizations are paying him $500,000 to come out and give a keynote speech right now?
None.
No one is hiring Joe Biden to come out and give a keynote speech. Whenever George W. Bush was done in office, his fee was $405,000 for one speech. $405,000 was his keynote speech fee for doing a half-hour speech.
So
Barack Obama's in the millions.
Are we going to see an auto pen going on tour, giving speeches and writing books?
So I say, you know what? The fact that the guy is dead in the water. The dude. Have we heard from him? I heard from him. Where's he at? All right. Before we move on, Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They use the same towers as the big three. The difference is they believe in the things you believe in, and they don't take a portion of your bill when you pay it every month and give it to leftist causes like all of the big three do. So I want you to switch over. Go to Patriot Mobile. I'm burping. Go to patriotmobile.com/Chad or call them on the phone 972-PATRIOT. Their customer service team is 100% U.S. based, so you can understand them on the phone and they'll help you. They have a package that'll fit your budget and your family's needs. They got it. They could switch everything around for you, do whatever you need, whatever combination, new number, new phone, switch the old stuff to the new stuff, all the things. But tell them I sent you. If you're a first responder or a veteran or a military member, they give you a free activation with promo code CHAD. They'll also give you the first free month. All of you, they'll give you a free month with promo code CHAD. And who knows, they might work all kind of deals out with you if you just call them up. But everybody needs to be using 972-PATRIOT. You do not need to be with the big three. You do not need to be with the big three. They're sending your money to things like Planned Parenthood. I had somebody over the weekend tell me that they go to Planned Parenthood because that's where they get their condoms. I was like, you're lying to me. That is not where you go get your condoms. Nobody's going, oh, yeah, I got to go down to the Kroger to get some meat for dinner, and then I got to stop by the Planned Parenthood for condoms. Planned Parenthood doesn't make $4.4 billion a year by giving away condoms. They got mad at me for saying that. Imagine that. They got mad. But I'm right. Because the first rule of the Chad Prather Show is Chad's always right. And I'm also right about Patriot Mobile, patriotmobile.com/Chad. Use promo code CHAD when you call them at 972-PATRIOT. How about that? All right, that youth coach shot in Texas. He was praying with his team. Did you see this, Steve?
Yeah, I may be getting stories mixed up. I don't know if this was this intentional?
Well, that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. I know this was Waller County, and these men's were fired. These men's, let me just read the names to them. Mahmoud, Abdel-Salam, Rababa, Ahmad Mawed, Mustafa Muhammad Mataga. They've been arrested. They were firing their guns from a nearby pasture towards the baseball field. Because, again, why not? I mean, just popping off rounds. But the coach was reportedly saying a prayer before the game with his team when he was shot in his shoulder.
All right, because I don't know was it intentional. Now I'm judging by the names. If I'm going to stereotype and say, I'm going to say they're used to growing up somewhere where you just shoot in every direction. It's nothing but sand, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. So. The defense, they said on Facebook, according to NBC, people shoot on their land all the time. At the time, they were unaware of anything in season. Now that we have more information, we know that there were 3 individuals target practicing 600, 700 yards away, they said on Facebook, according to NBC. The coach was shot in the shoulder. They says they were target practicing, just out there by the baseball field. Here we go. He's out there. Play the clip.
It happened at the Rack Katy Sports Complex, sending parents and coaches running for cover. Troy Class has more of the story.
Look at this guy.
Is here in the middle of a rural part of Waller County where coaches say they heard gunfire all weekend. Then on Sunday, bullets started flying through the baseball fields. Teams from across Southeast Texas were gathered for this tournament, including the Houston Warriors, a Warriors coach wounded in the shooting.
He literally took the bullet for a child that was to his left. And so thankfully, we avoided a major disaster. Still very, very emotional over it.
Team founder Andy Bays wasn't at the field, but says his coach was engaged in a pregame prayer with his team when the bullets started flying.
Look at the dude in red. Look at the balls of steel on this guy.
When he was struck by the bullet, his first reaction was to get down to the ground, cover his kids, and get them to a safe space.
Today, the Waller County Sheriff's Office says investigators have identified 3 suspects who allegedly fired guns from a nearby pasture in the direction of the field. The Rack Katy stating on Facebook, 3 individuals were target practicing 600 to 700 yards away, though they were not using a nearby gun range. Bays says the coach was taken to the hospital via a helicopter.
Go back to that where you get shot. That dude in the red just stands there. That dude's got balls of steel. Take it all the way back right there. Watch this. Like
it happened at the Rack
running.
Katy
Everybody's
Sports
running.
Complex, sending
Old
parents
coach
and coaches
right there.
running
He's like, what's the deal?
I think I would have found out that all weekend the
and
day before where those shots were coming from. If they said they heard shots all that time and you're on a baseball field with kids and stuff like that, if that's in hearing distance that close,
yeah,
I think I would have done a little bit more investigating, not just assume somebody's over there safely shooting like they're supposed to.
Yeah. So here it is. There's the guys right there.
I'm not
Mahmoud,
victim blaming.
Ahmad,
I'm just saying that
Mahmoud, Ahmad, Mustafa. There they are. Okay, well, welcome to Texas, everybody. I mean, Texas is, the epic cities and wanting to have Sharia and now honoring Ramadan and having a Pakistan Day and all those kind of things. I mean, Texas has got the largest growing Muslim population in America right now. So whatever, just let them shoot in the fields. Yeah, sounds good. Lots I could say on that. Lots I could say. Oh, and by the way, 700 shots, 600 or 700 yards. People say it's real far away. No, it's not.
No.
Not for a bullet. And I've also shot an elk at that distance but I know how to shoot a little bit longer distance and have this capability to do it. But either way, you don't shoot within 6 football fields of a baseball complex. And Texas better get their ish together, okay? All right, let's get over to the Pinheads of the day. Did you see this? Cynthia Nixon, she used to be on Sex and the City. She was out there telling everybody to cancel their Disney Plus and boycott Hulu and all their subscriptions because of Jimmy Kimmel's suspension. Well, she put on her mouse ears and came back out and said this. Play the clip.
Did you watch Kimmel last night? I did. I laughed so hard. I was so happy to see him back. But unfortunately, 20% of Americans were not given the option to watch him. If you were in New Orleans, if you were in Salt Lake, St. Louis, D.C., Nashville, you didn't get a chance. And that's the fault of Sinclair and Nexstar. So if you're in those markets...
Pause this video. Just at any point, just pause. This is the face of a legitimate idiot. This is a legitimate idiot, basically saying, now 2 days prior, she was telling everybody to cancel Disney Plus and Hulu. But now because Sinclair and Nexstar is not airing Jimmy, he was so funny. I just laughed and laughed. He was so funny. These people do not see themselves for the idiots that they are. That's astounding to me. All right, flip it over. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner's. Play it. Put it up there, David. What you got? All right, let's see. What do we got? Tylenol. There it is. It will kill the glutathione in your body. And yeah, I think her mother probably took a lot of Tylenol. That's for sure. All right, Jennifer Garner's daughter, Ben Affleck's daughter, they get Riri crazy. She wants mask mandates. She says this at the UN. We can and must do that again. We can recognize filtered air as a human right. You have the right, you moron.
You've got your filter on. You're fine. Nobody's going to mess with you.
Yeah,
I don't care if anybody wants to wear a mask. Go ahead and wear a mask. Just don't push it on anybody else.
I agree with what conservative Ant said. These people have a fetish. He was texting me yesterday. He goes, I'm telling you, these people have an absolute fetish with this stuff. And listen, you can't hide those ears, girl. You look like a taxi cab with the doors wide open. Play the clip.
For adults, the relentless beat of back to normal, ignoring, downplaying, and concealing both the prevalence of airborne transmission and the threat of long COVID, manifested in a series of choices.
Wow.
Young people lacked real choice in the matter and information about what was being chosen for us. Here's what we know about SARS-CoV-2.
Wow.
It is airborne, floating and lingering in the
All
air.
right, stop. I can't hear her through the mask. I don't want to hear her through the mask. This is a Tylenol baby, right? This is a Tylenol baby. She became Pinhead of the day. And by the way, at the end of the year, we are going to do the Pinheads of the year. We're going to do an awards program. You guys are going to love that. Violet Affleck. We're going to do a Pinheads of the year. All right, and then Dollar Store Obama. You know who that is. The man himself, Timu, Hakeem Jeffries, says Republicans are invoking white supremacy. KKK. Play the clip.
That in this great country of ours, whenever progress has been made, it has always triggered a backlash amongst those interested in elevating white supremacy, this ugly underbelly in American society. There was the progress of emancipation and Reconstruction, followed by the backlash of Jim Crow, the KKK, and the lynching epidemic.
Shut up and go to hell, dude. This is why Charlie got shot right here. This is the reason. This incitement to violence, this dangerous, evil, violent rhetoric. Stop.
And it's I'm offended that he used the word triggered with all the gun violence that we have in the United States. He chose to use the word triggered.
I mean, my God, dude, these people. Oh, my God, these people. He's a piece of zhuzh. All right, Party Foul Steve. Follow him at Party Foul Steve. As promised, I'm about to tell you what I wrote this morning. Steve, any final words?
Follow me on all the socials. You already said it for me. So
there you go.
At Party Foul Steve. Real easy, real simple. We'll see y'all, I guess, next week, right? Yeah, I will. All right.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be around. We're going to be, oh, my gosh, all this kind of stuff going on. All right, let's do my final here. All right, so if you missed it earlier this morning, I was just praying, and I was saying, and the thought hit my head, what would Jesus say to progressive liberals today? And then on the flip side, what would he say to staunch conservatives today? Progressives versus conservatives. And so I started to write this morning, and here's what I want to share with you, okay? Jesus, first of all, he said, I want you to listen very closely because you can use this. You can use this both as self-reflection as well as the people that you are debating or at least discussing things with. To the progressive left, Jesus would say, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That's, of course, John 14:6. Jesus would remind progressives and all of us that truth is not endlessly flexible. It's not just what feels right in the moment or what culture affirms. Truth is grounded in him. He would call people to stop bending the gospel to fit political trends and instead bend their politics to the gospel. On justice and mercy, we have to remember that progressives often speak about justice and care for the poor and lifting up the marginalized. Jesus would affirm that concern. He says, whatever you did for the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did also for me, Matthew 25:40. But he would also correct where justice gets detached from righteousness. Mercy cannot mean celebrating sin. Compassion cannot mean calling darkness light. On identity, Jesus would say, whoever loses his life for my sake will find it, Matthew 16:25. To a culture obsessed with self-definition, he would speak a harder word. Identity is not constructed by our desires, but given by our Creator. Fulfillment comes not by asserting self, but in surrendering self. On hypocrisy and power, Jesus consistently warned religious and political elites who claim to stand for righteousness while rejecting God's authority. To progressives who preach tolerance yet cancel, who demand compassion yet despise opponents, he would echo his words to the Pharisees. You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside you are full of greed and self-indulgence. Matthew 23, verse 25. But Jesus would not only rebuke, he would extend an invitation. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. He would call progressives who genuinely long for a better world to find in him the true justice, the true freedom, and the true love they are seeking but cannot manufacture without him. In short, Jesus would affirm what aligns with his Father's heart: justice, mercy, compassion. Confront what twists his truth, relativism, sin celebrated as virtue, and invite progressive liberals as he invites conservatives, independents, and everyone else to repent and follow him. Now, what would he say to us? What would he say to the conservatives in America today over our faith in politics? He would say, first of all, render to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's, Mark 12:17. Jesus would remind conservatives that politics has its place, but it's not the kingdom of God. He would warn against confusing national identity with eternal identity. Patriotism can be good, but idolatry of nation or party is not. On hypocrisy and pride, Jesus rebuked the Pharisees for loving public displays of piety while neglecting the weightier matters of the law: justice, mercy, and faithfulness. To conservatives, he might say, do not boast of your morality while your heart is cold. Do not defend family values in public while neglecting to live them in private. He would call out pride disguised as righteousness. Now, on wealth and materialism, Jesus said you can't serve both God and money. Matthew 6:24. Many conservatives champion capitalism and personal responsibility, which can be good, but he would warn against worshiping wealth, power, and comfort. He would ask, are you caring for the widow, the orphan, and the stranger, or only protecting your own prosperity? Now, on mercy towards our enemies, Jesus taught, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, Matthew 5:44. He would confront the spirit of contempt that often defines political discourse. Standing for truth must never become an excuse for hating those who disagree. He would remind conservatives that winning arguments is not the same as winning souls. On the heart of the gospel, perhaps most clearly, Jesus would say, do not lose sight of me. You can gain the whole world. You can secure the courts, pass the laws, hold the power, and yet still lose your soul. Mark 8:36. He would call conservatives back to the cross, back to humility, back to a gospel that transforms lives from the inside out. In short, Jesus would affirm conservatives for desiring order and morality and reverence for life, but he would rebuke them for pride, hypocrisy, and placing politics on the throne. And just like with progressives, he would extend the same invitation. Follow me, repent, and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. At the end of the day, folks, if you're still with me, Jesus is not running for office. He's not up for public opinion. He's not on the ballot, and he's not looking for your polling that affirms him. He's not wearing a red hat or waving a blue flag. He's the King of Kings, and his kingdom is not of this world. To progressives, he says, stop twisting truth to fit your desires. Come to me and find real justice, real compassion, real identity. To conservatives, he says, stop mistaking politics for the kingdom. Humble yourselves, love your enemies, and return to me as to your first love. The message is the same on both sides. Repent, believe, and follow him. Because at the foot of the cross, the ground is level. Left and right doesn't matter there. Only forgiven and unforgiven. Lost and found, dead and alive. And Jesus still stretches out his arms today to say, come to me, all of you. The answer you're looking for is not found in Washington, D.C. It is found in me. I hope that blesses you in hearing it as much as it blesses me in writing it. I'm sure many of you would disagree with me on a few points, and I'd love to hear about that down in the comments. Make sure that you leave those comments down there. Click the like button, the little thumbs up down there, and you're subscribed to YouTube and Rumble, as well as leave me a rating. 5 stars is what we deserve over on where podcasts are offered, Spotify and Apple. Also, join me in getting this book. Get the book, Born for Meaning. You can go to bornformeaning.com. We've got a new order coming in because we sold out of the ones we had. I will sign the ones that are coming in. But you can get it over on Amazon and have it at your house probably tomorrow, unless you live out in Timbuktu. It's a good place, I hear. But get it over there and leave a rating for that as well. Before the Noise, 8, 7 Central every day. We just finished John chapter 9. We're moving into John chapter 10, which is power-packed, action-packed. We might spend a little time there. We're Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 a.m. Central. And make sure that you go to beforethenoise.com and leave me a review where on Apple Podcasts. It's not the same as leaving a review on beforethenoise.com. Go to where Apple Podcasts are and search Before the Noise. Scroll down. Hit the deal. Hit the rating. Let's drive it up. I love you guys. I'm thankful for you. I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of the Chad Prather Show. And we just keep having a good time with you guys. Tuesday, Montgomery County, Texas, there at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. I'll be there. Chris Cagle will be there. A number of our friends will be there. Representative Steve Toth will be there. Judge Wayne Mack there in Montgomery County. I'm going to leave people out. We're going to have a memorial there from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. for Charlie Kirk at Montgomery County Fairgrounds there in Texas. That's Tuesday night, September 30th. I'd love it if you'd come and join us and be a part of that. And look forward to seeing you guys there. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and week. I will be with you tomorrow morning before the noise. If I don't see you there, I will see you Monday back on the Chad Prather Show. Until then, I love you. God bless you. And I will talk to you later. Bye.